Messi. Messi. Oh my goodness. Balotelli. Aguero. That is extraordinary. What a head, son. What a head.
Back of the net.
Hello, and welcome to the Not a Pundit podcast as usual. But you already know that. You clicked on this. Why am I telling you? I don't know. Connor, how are we doing?
I am doing very, very well. We got a tremendous win over Man United over the weekend and absolutely bloody dominated. And you know what, mate? It's slightly awkward. I think we might have scared Nate away.
Well, Nate, how was the weekend for you?
Tumbleweeds.
Yes. Nate is not here this week. He is in hiding, which is very apt considering United got a hiding. What was your reaction to it, Connor? Was it as bad as the scoreline made out to be? Was this a fantastic Newcastle victory, or was it just another terrible United loss?
I think before we delve into that, my biggest thing going into the game was with Eddie Howe at that time in hospital for unknown reasons. It was kind of awful to hear that, but Jason Tyndall living his dreams out. But it's since come out that Eddie has been going through a bout of pneumonia, so T's and P's to him, and hopefully he's back on the sideline soon. I think it was a great win. Not just obviously from a 3 points perspective, and United, or Man United in this case, are a team that have historically rolled us over and put up big numbers against us. So it's nice to get a substantial scoreline against them. I think, going into the game, we saw Nana dropped, which was huge. I understand it. His performance against Leon, after having a war of words with Matic during the week, I think Matic caught him out and pointed out how poorly he's been playing. But, they then brought in a sub-keeper who tried to play out from the back, which doesn't suit that team, and I don't think he knows how to play. Our high press absolutely broke them down. I think, I've been saying multiple points throughout this season of the pod that our midfield is arguably one of the best in the Premier League, and I think that's what won us this game. I think it was a performance that showed what Eddie Howe has brought to that team, and I think what actually did make me feel good about Tyndall being in charge was that it doesn't all hinge on Eddie, that what he has built is built in the players, and they can carry that on. Look, we're not going to have Eddie out forever. I hope we have him for a good while. I know I've tiptoed around my whether I want that to be, but I think the Carabao Cup has blurred my vision for the short term. But yeah, all in all, really great performance from the Toon, and another poor performance from Manchester United. I saw a stat that I think summed up how their season is going, to be honest, and we're the fourth club to beat them home and away this season in the league, and that hasn't happened since 1958.
Which is absolutely insane. Now, I do think that goes to also speak of the competitive nature of the Premier League, as much as it does like the kind of how in the doldrums United have been for a decade now. But like, I think it's good that can happen for teams of the reputation of United. But I think there's going to be serious question marks over Amarin by the end of this season, which I think is kind of fairly unjust. I don't think he's going to be sacked. But
surely
I think
they can't. Optically,
No. But I think that it will kind of lead to a situation like Ten Hag was in last summer, going into the season, kind of going, listen, the proverbial axe is swinging above your head. Should there be enough of an excuse if they back him this summer and they give him what he wants?
What's
and he
that
isn't
look like,
performing,
though? Does that mean money? Does that mean
I think it means signings, not necessarily big money.
Bodies, basically.
Yeah, like I think it'd be I think there'd be a certain amount of money, like let's say Premier League level money of 70, 80, 90 million of a war chest, plus whatever we can sell. So like if you can get Sancho off the wage bill and get 30 or 40 million or whatever,
Get
and
Rashford out the door.
that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and that'll kind of like bolster your kitty, where you may have the budget for a 20 million striker, while you might have 25 now, just because it'll limit some of the losses for financial rules. So I think we United have shown since Ratcliffe came in. Now maybe this is as much Ashworth and him not being
R.I.P.
there, but like getting in players like Delict for the money that they did, getting in players like Mazraoui for the money that they did, even Ugarte was good value. They've shown that they are shopping in a different bin now. One that I've given a lot of praise and credit to. Like going for that slightly undervalued at their current team will get for a better price. Getting you can get some good value now. That I think 80, 90 million of them kind of players will plus whatever you can sell will kind of give him enough ammunition to be able to kick on. And I think the way Ratcliffe will see it is if that doesn't, or if that isn't enough for him, well then maybe he's not the right person, because I think that's the way Ratcliffe's going to be operating going forward.
See, if I'm Radcliffe, where I'm worried is this whole dedication to the formation that he wants. It's going to get to a point where, like, your head is on the chopping board. If you're that dedicated to a certain style, you better be able to walk with that. And I struggle to see them financially able to bring in the volume of players they need to for him to have a team that can play that system, because those who are there now simply cannot or won't. One or the other. Either way, it's not happening.
I don't think you're going to see him change from it, because ultimately that's what
the hill he has to die on. But
yeah, it was also the reason he was hired. Like, they wanted a team with an identity. They may not like the identity now, or he may not have the exact players for it, but he has to double down on it.
Well, I'm starting to agree with Nate, where, a couple episodes back he said if it wasn't for Bruno Fernandes they'd have been relegated, and he ain't far wrong.
Yeah, but like, say if they can get rid of Casemiro, like that's an
huge
awful lot. Yeah. Like, yeah, well, like at what point do you kind of just sometimes have to just take the loss on the chin and kind of go, yeah, it's going to cost me X amount now, but it'll save me a year's worth of wages at 300k
and press throughout the whole season.
Yeah, so like when you have them if you can kind of shift some of them financial burdens, which in fairness last summer they did get a good bit of the dead wood cleared in their defense, then there should be enough movability for Barada or whoever be the one doing the signings to be able to like make some changes. Plus, I think like when you've seen their the January and December transfers, like there was that young guy from Arsenal, even like
they've made moves with a lot of young lads. Yeah,
I think you'll see a little bit more of that this summer. I think you might see one or two older heads, 26, 27-year-olds. But I think you'll see a couple of young guys, but not far off their current first team, shall we say. Not saying their Premier League first team, but their current first team. That they can at least kind of like give that balance, so that like, yeah, you have, say, your Bruno, but then your backup is somebody that's not there yet, but is pretty damn good. And I think like we have to remember Amram's not there that long. I think with a full preseason for the likes of Garnacho and players like that to kind of double down and try new positions, like see if Garnacho can play in a Bruno role, or should he be kind of more of like a forward. And like, I think there'll be a little bit over the summer. I think you'll probably see a little bit more fitting these players into the system. and making judgment calls on them then, rather than what's happened now, which is play the system and play the players where maybe they might work, um, and not being able to experiment too much because ultimately the expectation's already there where it's
Well,
probably not.
you have to look at this as a case of Thursday night, Europa League. If they lose that and they get knocked out of that, that is both the Champions League spot gone, potentially if they were to go on and win the Europa League. Financially, that'd be a hit. So now you're looking in the barrel of a team that's 14th, 15th in the league who doesn't have Champions League next year. So from a financial perspective, you don't have that coming in. Your sponsor revenue is going to be decreased, and also, what is your attraction as a player to go there? They're going like Thursday is absolutely gigantic for Amarim, and off the back of that, I think it's a case of there's not a world in which he keeps his job next year if this time next year they're in the bottom half. Not a chance.
Yeah, I don't think investment wise Ratcliffe could allow it if it's coming up to Christmas and they're in the bottom half.
That's what I was going to say. He's going to, yeah, he'll get a preseason. He might get to bring in some people, but he does not have time in his sign, man.
No, I think it's for the second year in a row. It's like Ten Hag was last year, kind of like if there's an opportunity or a need, we're happy enough to get you gone now because like we don't have time to waste ultimately. But one team that operated as if they did have time to waste was Liverpool. They held true, and somebody did call this. Oh yeah, it was us. We said of the three that their contracts were running out, two of them would stay. Trent is gone. We had our say on that, and since our last episode, Salah has signed,
So
and
yes,
Virgil is on the way.
yeah, he's very close to a here we go. If Fabrizio's to be trusted in that one, and the man's not wrong. I think we deserve a collective pat in the back for that one. I do think the Trent one was as obvious as the night is long, but the other two, I don't know, and I don't know about you, but I don't think the club should have let it go that long because from a negotiation point of view they've definitely been put over a barrel. This is the most ideal situation as a player and an agent that could possibly have happened. They could have commanded anything.
Uh, in fairness, I think the club was. I think they were trying to play a clever hand, kind of going, let's not overcommit ourselves. Because in fairness, no, I don't think any of us expected Salah to have the season that he's had. Like, I think we were all expecting some form of him tapering off, especially
Especially
under
with
a
the
new coach.
Saudi interest.
Yeah, but with a new coach as well, kind of going like, is he going to fit into the system? Let's not commit another whatever that wages would be $250,000 or
Mm.
280,000 a week or 300,000 a week for a coach that might come in 6 months' time and say, yeah, I actually don't want him. Oh, well, sorry, we just committed a 5-year deal with him. So I think they did play a relatively clever hand on the Salah front.
In terms of, you think the way they played this almost turned his season into the season that it's been, and where he'd something to prove, as in
A
like
little,
keep me like.
a little bit of that, but more about protecting Slot. That like, if Slot turned around and says, yeah, he's not for me, well then, oh, it's the board's fault. They let him run down his contract. I think there was a little bit of clever gamesmanship there.
If it
Whereas,
didn't work out, though, they lost, £200 million worth of players.
well,
Arguably 300 if you throw in Trent in there.
like with Salah, if I think by January, if it was obvious that it wasn't going to work under Slot, he would have been sold to Saudi, and they would have got 80 or 90 or 100 million from him, which would have been absolutely fine. Could they have probably gotten more? Yeah, but he's also 32 years old, so I think they've played a really, really clever hand. Plus, him making them constant assertions of his love for the club. They've whilst they're losing a local lad who, as we kind of argued last week, or definitely I did, he should be for his own career. He should be staying.
You think?
I think uh, they've basically uh, anointed Salah as like the new Gerrard because he's so loyal, he's so amazing, he's so good,
I
and he's
think
going
that's
to
a bit
lead
of a
us.
reach now. I know where you're going with it. Is in he's the one that they're giving him the flowers of you could have left, you didn't. You're our man. I mean, I think
Yeah,
Jared is
well, I'm
higher on
thinking,
that pecking order, but in
I'm
that
thinking,
vein, yeah,
yeah, I'm thinking Gerrard when he was being linked with Chelsea and Chelsea were
yeah.
willing to spend all the money. It's that kind like at that point, Gerrard wasn't Gerrard, but everyone turned around and goes, "Yeah, local lad, fair play but like fair play that you stayed." More to the point, and I think the whole situation has cemented Salah as a complete and utter cop legend. And when his contract does come to an end, I think they'll all let it run out or near as damned. And when he does go, he'll be going with the Anfield blessing rather
Well,
than
yeah. I mean, he's done 8 years now. I think it's a 2 year deal, if
two
memory
years, be
serves.
a decade by
Yeah, like
2020.
with two Premier Leagues pretty much nailed on. You know, it looks like they'll win it this weekend, and who knows what they win in between. And I don't know about you, but I think the reason we always said that two would stay, one would go, is that we kind of thought Trent was gone, and if Salah went, there was no way Virgil van Dijk was going to stay, which I don't think says anything about him from a character point of view. I'm not trying to create that smoke, but I get that. You know, I think if I'm Virgil van Dijk and I'm left there without Salah, without Trent, I don't want to turn this into a basketball podcast, but you're kind of big three or big five if you include some other players in there. A lot of that's gone, and you know there's every chance Allison goes, and then you're kind of stuck in a team going, why was I the one left holding the bag? You know.
Yeah, I get it. But I think with Virgil van Dijk, like he's obviously an unbelievable player, but I think there was a massive amount of hype around him. And if you look at him, there's not a whole lot of interest around him. Everyone's willing to give him the flowers, but like
I think
there's no
because
talks of
I
bids
think
coming
no
in.
one
There's
actually
no
thought. I think no one actually thought he was on the market. Like we saw, you know, him having conversations in the tunnel with the president of PSG, and I think that was very good optics by his agent and a calculated push. But
mm,
I don't think anyone. I think if that was a real him going, there would be a queue stretching down to Manchester.
yeah. Ultimately, I think it's going to make this summer a whole lot easier for Liverpool having the two of them there. That like they're Premier League champions. They're getting good Champions League runs. They've won it relatively recently. Um, like still having two big names, and say if they were to push for the likes of an Isak, it's no longer kind of like okay, be part of the next generation. No, it's like you are here to take the crown from him,
You
and we
shall
want
not
you.
spread the slander of Isak leaving the Northeast. Do not even dare. Not
Well,
anywhere but them. Anywhere but them. I would take Arsenal over that, but not bloody Liverpool, please. Dear God, don't do that to me.
like I
I
think he would be a
can't.
great signing for Arsenal, but what do Arsenal have to offer that like Liverpool
Vibes.
doesn't? What that he might get his wallet nicked and then berated for it. Like,
He'll get to enjoy some fantastic team talks that he definitely won't laugh about when he goes home in the car.
I was talking to somebody about this recently, an Arsenal fan, and he was adamant. No, of course he's going to come to Arsenal. Sure, why would he go to Liverpool? Who wants to live in Liverpool when you have the option of London?
London.
And I was like, well, Isak has never done it the normal way. He's from Sweden. He went to Dortmund, then he went to Sociedad. So it's not like he's been looking for these big capital moves, and then he went to Newcastle. Plus, when you're earning as much money as he is, you can just fly to Paris at night if you wanted.
You
Like,
go for a coffee in Spain if you feel like it, yeah.
yeah, sure, we'll have a brunch in Barcelona and we'll have dinner in Munich, and sure, I'll see you back in Rome for bedtime. Like, these people are not operating on a level that like any of us can comprehend. But when I was chatting to
One thing I can't comprehend, just maybe we'll touch on this, is the abuse that Trent is getting. You know, I don't know if you've seen this narrative floating around. Maybe it's just by algorithm, but you know, there's a big cohort of Liverpool fans, a lot of which has been stemmed on by Paddy Pimblett, the USC fighter, calling him not Scouse for his decision to leave. That for me is absolutely ridiculous.
it's patently ridiculous. Like, you, like, it's not like a Scouse card that you can just like revoke.
But like
Yeah,
they're coming out from the kind of like, oh, you're a local lad, you're turning your back on your family. It's like he didn't cost a penny to buy, and him leaving for free, that is the club's mess up. That is like, yes, he is making a business decision for himself, and it's worked out in his interest. I would adore to see his signing on bonus, but it's not like they spend 150 million quid in him and he's leaving on a free. He was an academy player who went through the ranks, has won them multiple football games, has won them multiple trophies, and to whatever about his legacy being tarnished at the club, as we've discussed previously, which I still disagree with, but I can understand that. But to brand them not Scouse, like, if when you're from Liverpool, that's your complete identity. That, like, this whole "I'm from Liverpool, not England," to take that away from the kid, Jesus, what am I saying? The kid, take away from the bloke, it's just cruel.
plus it's hilarious. What other Scouse person hasn't left the club? Literally every
Yeah,
single one of them. The only one
yeah.
that didn't was Carragher, and he's an Evertonian.
I
Like,
need no offers. He's even said it himself. He didn't have much options.
no. Like, even Jay Spearing left them. Like, Gerrard went to LA. Like, McManaman went to Madrid. They all leave either because they're shite or because they're better than the club. So, like, I
Liverpool
don't.
fans do like to gloss over the fact that Jared went to LA. I know it was different, and we've talked about that too. But they do. It's not. He was
He's not
technically
a one
not a
club
one man
man.
club. Yeah.
No, like, and it's not in even any like. There's no technical about it. Like, he's just not a one club man. Yeah, he went and had 2 years out in LA. Like, yeah, just stupid. Just it's just that like anything like that is just stupid. To get any kind of longevity out of anybody in the Premier League in this era is incredible, and like he deserves credit for it. I think he is making a long term silly move, but like I'm also the one that would say fair play to James Carragher for going playing for Malta, because you might as well be a legend somewhere. So like I do absolutely see very much both sides, and my issue with Madrid being is they turn amazing players into just another player in an amazing team. So it kind of screws both.
I do agree with you on that. There's been plenty of players that have gone there, even players that have come from Liverpool, a la Michael Owen. That it didn't work out for. I understand him going. Whether it'll work out, I don't know. That's the big one for me. But I am looking forward to finding out.
Yeah. One thing that I loved to see, not, less so because of who it was, but more kind of like I love the unexpected, and Declan Rice being able to score a free kick at all, let alone two, and let alone two fantastic ones.
Not even
That
fantastic.
was.
Pure filth. Absolute pure filth.
And then one thing I will say, despite what everyone's saying, the first one was not Roberto Carlos esque.
It was.
It
Come on.
wasn't as
The
good as
man was
Roberto
even in the
Carlos.
stadium, for Christ's sake.
It wasn't as good as the Roberto Carlos
Oh, it
one.
wasn't as good. No.
No, so it's not
But it
Roberto
was,
Carlos, but it was like Ronaldo esque, Pirlo esque. Like, it was top tier. But like,
to be
there's
able to do that against that kind of an opposition, though. Like, how many people, like, he's never scored a free kick. And, we've seen multiple players talk about his ability and training. And I've even seen YouTubers talk about, who've done clips with him, that he can do anything with his left foot, right foot. But maybe, well, I'd say he did know he could do that, but I'd say he was surprised he was able to do it on that level in that instance.
oh yeah, like I wonder is it now going to skew it everything going forward, where people are going to expect him to be able to like pull out these worldly free kicks every so often.
Well,
Like
I saw a great tweet. So the Madrid have decided to close the roof in the second leg, and so it was kind of a news thing saying, Real Madrid decided to close the roof of the Bernabeu, and someone just wrote back, "Rice cooks better with the lid on."
but like when we've seen so many players just get like absolutely defined by free kicks. Like look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Like he hasn't taken a decent like proper free kick in about 10 years.
I will say
Like
though that one against Portsmouth still lives rent free in my head. That's one of the greatest free kicks I've ever seen.
incredible. But like as soon as he started playing center, his apparently his ability to take an amazing free kick just left him.
The other one, I don't know if you remember this one that Ronaldo that sticks in my mind was how many years ago now? Probably about 5 years ago. Portugal were playing Spain. Spain are leading 3-2. There's about 2 minutes left, and he rifles it top right corner, and it was everything Ronaldo was made for.
But yeah, but like if you were to watch football up until like 2009 and then not watch it until that game, you would have expected that he was doing that
On the
once a
regular,
month.
yeah,
Instead of like once every 6 years. So does he have it in his ability? Yes, but like he's no Juninho.
Well, Juninho is the person who scored the most free kicks of all time by a good margin as well.
Like this is Juninho permanent.
Bucano, yeah, we've definitely butchered his name, but
not
Middlesbrough
Juninho.
Juninho, yeah,
Paulista.
yeah.
Both of which, the reason they have them second names is actually it's the region of Brazil they're from.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like Ronaldinho when he went back to Brazil, he was Ronaldinho Gocho.
Well,
just so many of them random names.
Here's one for you. So if we look at the top 10 free kick goals scored, all leagues, all around the world, all eras, there are three Brazilians in the top four. Who are the other two?
The top four, three of them are the top four.
So out of the top four, number one, number two, and number four are Brazilian.
Okay, so Juninho,
number one, 77 goals.
Ronaldinho,
number 4, 66 goals.
I
didn't think you'd get that one. Way back.
Okay.
Possibly the most iconic player in the game.
Oh, Pele.
Yeah, number 2, 70.
Number 3.
Number 3 now is Argentinian. I didn't know this one.
Argentinian that scored tons of frees. Do you
know his first name? You might get it.
Go on.
Victor.
No.
Victor Lagrotta Gilly, which I've definitely butchered to high heaven. But yeah, he is number one. When I was going in the list, though, this is where I got surprised. Who do you think has more free kick goals, Ronaldo or Beckham?
Probably Ronaldo, because Seb Larsson has more free kick goals than Beckham in the Premier League.
Beckham has 65 free kick goals in all competition. Ronaldo, as per this list now, which is apparently as of April 2025, is on 64. So there's nothing in it. But 65 free kicks from David Beckham. Unbelievable.
In fairness, like he did have a good few years in the MLS. So I wonder if that added out.
I know, but still. Bear in mind what age he was and what nick his body was in at that point. So yeah, if you run through the list, we've got Juninho, Pele. Our boy Victor, then Ronaldinho, Beckham in 5th with 65, 6th Messi with 65, so tied 5th. Oh, wow. Maradona 62, which that one kind of surprised me because you don't think of Maradona for free kicks, or at least I don't. You just think of him using his hands. Then number 8 we got Zico. Number 9 we got
Yeah.
Ronaldo, and then another Brazilian to cap us off at 10, Rogerio Ceni.
Ricardo Sene,
Yeah.
who is a goalkeeper.
Oh, it's him.
Yeah, he has 101 goals. Or 100,
Yes. I know exactly.
111 goals.
When I saw the name, I was like, I was like,
Ricardo Sene for Sao Paulo.
it's like when you see
15
someone walking in the street and you're like, I know who that person is, I just can't remember. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that
he's
makes
the
a lot
manager
more
now in
sense.
Brazil. He scored a stupid amount. How many was it?
He scored free kick wise 59.
Yeah, so
For a keeper is absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, well he's the highest goal scoring goalkeeper in history by like I think 30 goals.
Country mile.
I think it's Chevrolet for Paraguay is second. Jose Luis.
There's definitely a dude in the Sunday League team somewhere screaming, going, "I've got more."
Well, then there was the Mexican goalkeeper. I can't remember his name. He's the one in the night. Is it Campos?
Oh, the one who did the scorpion kick.
No, that's Rene Higuita, who did score some goals, but not too many. So he's Colombian. Campos, he was famous for designing his own goalkeeper kits, but also he would wear the number 9 because he would sometimes play up front.
That's the kind of energy I'm here for.
And he was like 5'9" as well, and he was a goalkeeper.
A man after my own heart.
He's an absolute legend. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Seb Larsson has more Premier League free kick goals than Beckham.
That's amazing.
Like, he is so underrated as a free kick and set piece taker. Probably because like he didn't, other than Sunderland, he didn't play for any big clubs.
Are there any other free kick takers that like, not even I'm talking serious numbers here, just that you enjoyed watching? Like 2 that come to mind for me would be Morten Gams Pedersen for obvious reasons, but then also players like someone like an Ian Hart. I just tremendously enjoyed watching them. Also Nakamura would be up there.
Nakamura was one of the ones I was going to say, but also I forget how good David Bentley was at delivering a ball in.
That is a podcast in itself. His ability to just spray a ball and his accuracy when he wanted to, like, let's call a spade a spade. He wasn't the most consummate professional, and what could have been. But when he was on it, dear God, he was good.
Well, like if you wanted to boil Beckham down to his like base of what's he good at, they're all the same stats as Bentley. In fact, Bentley was probably a better athlete. Like he could probably run quicker. Probably stamina.
Well, maybe not overall player, but in terms of there was attributes of David Bentley's game that were better than Beckham for sure.
But like if you were to, them scatter graphs or like, I think the dots would be in similar areas. They may not be to the same degrees, but to be all in the same shapes. I think there's like lads that we kind of forget how good they were at free kicks.
Lauren Robert, sorry, just to lob him in there.
Yeah, Ronald Koeman.
Yeah,
scored a lot of free kicks and penalties.
His were real like absolute welliers as well. Like the
like
power
Alex,
on them.
Remember Alex at Chelsea? He scored.
He was the best
Champions
at that.
League. Just straight like through the laces.
He torpedo like he could have. Like it was like a bloody cruise missile. Actually, speaking of cruise missile, Tony Cruz, another majestic free kick taker.
Juan Roman Riquelme.
Yes, very good shout.
He's just so underrated as a footballer. Like I know he never really did it at the top level.
Well, United tried to get him like 3 or 4 times, and he just wouldn't do it.
Well, when you see like what happened with him with Barca and then Villarreal, like I don't think he was really set up for
the Premier League.
Well, not even that. I don't think he was set up for being away from Argentina. I think that's where he had made his name, and he had made, like, obviously had himself set up, and was a Boca legend, is a Boca legend. I think he's still the chairman of the club now,
which we love to see that kind of thing.
Yeah. So like I think it was unfortunate we didn't get to see probably what the Argentinians got to see on a European sense, but like
You know,
Yeah,
one who actually
he's
comes to
incredible.
mind. It was a bit of a clanger, and I love this player, but Maradona, he is not. Charlie Adam.
Really?
Yeah, he could fizz them, man. Like
Well, I know he could like punt the ball. Like
he's not a bloke. He's kind of like
off.
he was a bit of a Matt Letitia, where he just had if he could just stand there and welly it and just pick where he wanted it to go. I saw him play live a couple of times, and he like I said, he's never going to be in the conversation for even near the top 1,000 in the world. But good God, that man had some control of football.
Then there was also like Del Piero.
Again, I had the pleasure of seeing him play against Shamrock Rovers actually, and he was old, but Jesus, he like that's when you see players like that. I don't know if there's been players you've seen over the years, but there's few players that I've seen, and you go, oh, they're in a world of their own. Like I mean, they're playing this football, and then there's whatever they're playing.
Yeah, like he's, and again, I think by the time I started to get really into football and know football little bit more, he was older. But like he was at Juventus for so long and played at such a high level, Serie B seasons aside. But there's more contemporary ones that we should also mention is James Ward-Prowse, obviously.
Well, yeah.
I think more so like he's a very, very good dead ball guy rather than free kicks. Ian Hart.
Yeah, I mentioned him briefly earlier. Like he as more of a joy to watch player. I
Yeah.
know we had the chance to meet him not too long back and had a good old natter about his free kicks. But he really on his day was special.
10 free kick goals for a left back.
Wasn't there a stage there where maybe this was him telling us, and I just believed it when he said it? But wasn't he statistically better than Beckham at one point? Like he'd a better
Probably.
ratio at one point
Yeah.
during his career.
Well, I think he scored 80 or 90 goals. So like that's like a 1 in 8 or a 1 in 9 of his goals being free kicks. So like,
I mean, it's not bad. Think of the era as well, and the heavier ball.
Not the most technically gifted footballer.
Yeah.
Like at least with Beckham, like there was always. Do you know who's a player I actually forgot existed until recently? And his time at Atletico Madrid was amazing. And again, he was another dead ball specialist. Simão.
Beautiful player. Yeah.
Remember the Portuguese guy?
Yeah.
It was.
He's a real Simeone type player, actually.
Yeah, he was incredible. Like that Portuguese team where like it was Figo, and then there was kind of like as Ronaldo was coming through, so was Simão. Obviously Quaresma. We all thought he was going to be something that he ended up not being, but
enjoyable to watch at the time, though.
Oh, great! Do you remember he had a loan at Chelsea?
Yeah, completely struggled.
Yeah, and so did Fabio Piama, which is the guy that played with Ronaldo, Cristiano. Who Cristiano said, well, if you think I'm good, wait till you see this other guy. And he, again, was just one of them players that apparently was, like, incredibly gifted with
in that conversation as well. One that just came into my mind there, Adriano. He was someone I never got the chance to see play, and I just really wish I did, because bloody hell, man, he could pick a spot, or he could absolutely welly it. He had such power, such precision. Oh, I'm going to be going down a rabbit hole of free kicks after this.
Yeah. Again, he was another one of them just thunder bastards.
Yeah,
like,
which is my favourite. Like,
yeah, and then we have to also mention Roberto Carlos. Like,
I mean,
not necessarily for just the amount, but the technique. Like, do you ever see his goal from the corner flag?
Yes, I have. Like, there was very few things that man couldn't do.
Oh, he's incredible. But if you haven't seen it, look up Roberto Carlos impossible goal, and it actually goes through the physics of this goal, and it's him sprinting at full speed down the left wing. I think it was against Bayern Munich, or something like that. I think it was
I
like
can't remember who it was. If you've remembered that now, that's fair play.
I think it's some I think it was like an early European game, like group stage, not necessarily make or break. But he was sprinting down, defender on him, and with his left leg, because he only had the one, he whacks it in from about the corner flag. He was trying to keep it in, and the ball crossed and curved in towards the box, and it looks like it's like the best cross or assist that you could ever imagine. And it just continues to curve, and the goalkeeper's not there for it. He's not ready for it. He jumps. It's above him. It's too quick. It's curving too much. And it goes straight in. Genuinely, from the physics point of view, if he had taken half a step slower, half a step quicker, used a different side of his toenail,
Just wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't have happened. And it's a thing to behold. And on that bombshell, I'm going to leave you to go and Google that, because if that doesn't make your mouth salivate, you're listening to the wrong podcast. Thank you very much, and we'll chat to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Messi. Oh, my goodness.